Now for a technical introduction to Symantec Endpoint Encryption. A look at the product overview along with features, benefits, and architecture. There are two types of deployment scenarios. Either customers will need to migrate their installation from Symantec Endpoint Encryption version 8.2.1, or they will require a new Symantec Endpoint Encryption deployment. This will be the most typical scenario, and is what we will focus on in this workshop. The Symantec Endpoint Encryption 11 management server is based on Guardian Edge technology. It utilizes an SQL database to store user and policy information. The two major components of the server are the server itself and the management console. The server includes the Symantec Endpoint Encryption Drive Encryption clients and removable media clients. Drive Encryption is a new client from previous versions of Symantec Endpoint Encryption and is powered by PGP technology. The client consists of the Symantec Endpoint Encryption Management Agent and Symantec Endpoint Encryption Drive Encryption. The removable media encryption client is also powered by PGP technology and consists of the management agent, removable media encryption, and the access utility. The server allows for central management of endpoint encryption clients. This means that you can generate client installers with policies already configured, modify policy for deployed clients, provide recovery for users who are locked out of Drive Encryption, and allows for compliance auditing and general reporting on the environment. Here we see some of the core benefits to Symantec Endpoint Encryption. It's built PGP strong. This means it's high-performing with strong encryption. It uses the PGP Hybrid Cryptographic Optimizer and utilizes advanced encryption standard new instructions hardware for faster speeds. It offers robust reporting. This is compliance-based. There are many out-of-the-box reports available, and you can customize these reports. This eases the burden of proof for administrators and auditors. It allows for automation. You can synchronize individual and group policies. You can also synchronize keys with Active Directory. It offers DLP integration. This blends Symantec data loss prevention with removable media encryption. It offers a stronger, user-friendly endpoint security solution. Some additional benefits are that it's user-friendly. The encryption speed varies so users can continue working. It offers single sign-on, which means less passwords to remember. It has flexibility, which is support for multi-user environments and support for non-Active Directory environments. And lastly, it's transparent. It offers invisible installation for end users, including automatic encryption, and again, reporting for compliance. This is an overview of the Symantec Endpoint Encryption 11 architecture. You will be provided with reference materials, so don't worry about memorizing what you see on the screen. Essentially, most traffic in the environment can be encrypted with TLS SSL certificates if configured to do so. We will take a closer look at all of these components throughout the workshop. Symantec Endpoint Encryption 11 allows for rapid deployment and activation of clients. Just download the appropriate MSI installer to the client and run the installation. After the client is installed, you can initiate true full disk encryption on the internal hard drives. Symantec Endpoint Encryption 11 offers extensive support for smart cards, common access cards, and personal identity verification for two-factor authentication requirements. Maintenance of the clients and patching or upgrading to newer versions is non-disruptive and easy to accomplish. Many people ask why we need encryption. Why is it important? It allows you to meet regulatory requirements, protects your intellectual property, protect the property of your customers, and allows for overall peace of mind when it comes to the security of data. Let's take a look at an all-too-common scenario. You've heard about it many times. A fully responsible person is traveling with a work-issued computer or data drive. As with all humans, they may get distracted or something else may come up during travel. It can be all too easy for a normally responsible person to leave behind or lose a valuable company asset. Sure, the value of the device is bad enough, but the value of the data on that device is not so easily calculated. Sometimes these devices are even just stolen. Having encryption means that even if this device is lost or stolen, the only loss is the device itself. The much more valuable data on that device remains secure from access and dissemination, protecting employees, employers, and customers. Now you can breathe a sigh of relief. Over the next few minutes, we will look at the process of setting up a complete Symantec endpoint encryption environment. Here's the installation sequence. We will look at each of these in detail. First, we need to provision some required accounts for installing and operating Symantec endpoint encryption. We will also require an SQL Server instance. Then we can install the Symantec Endpoint Encryption Management Server. Next, we can install the Manager Console. After that comes the Symantec Endpoint Encryption Client installations. And then we're done. Pretty simple, right? Of course, there are a lot of little steps in between, and we will be covering the most essential. Database sizing depends on a number of factors: configuration of the database, number of installed clients, number of computer objects in the Active Directory forest, the number of registered users, and so on. With the way the schema is created, the data file has an initial size of 800 megabytes and can grow up to 10 gigabytes in increments of 25 megabytes. The log file is created with an initial size of 80 megabytes and can grow up to 2 gigabytes in increments of 20 megabytes. Please note that the database size can only be increased, not decreased. Here we see a general overview of what the architecture using scalability might look like. We have multiple management servers all connecting to a single SQL database. Clients can be connected to any of these management servers to improve redundancy and reduce workload on the servers. Finally, we can see that a single management console can manage all of the servers and clients. For review on this lesson, we covered what Symantec endpoint encryption is. We looked at the core benefits, had a look at the architecture overview, discussed why we need encryption, looked at the installation, process, and sequence, and finally spoke a little bit about scalability.